My name is Bijan Roganchi, and my project is Becoming Iranian. In 2011, I left for Iran for the first time. I was born and raised in the United States. I'd never been to Iran. I met my grandmother once when I was 3 or 4 years old, never met my aunts and uncles and cousins. And I wanted to go to spend 1 year in Iran to ask of myself and to ask of the country what it meant for me to be Iranian. I was going to spend 4 months in Tehran just learning the language, meeting family, learning how to be independent, learning how to take the bus, go to the store, ask for help, basic things to begin the most basic type of immersion, that cultural immersion, that just throw yourself into the deep end of the swimming pool. The next 4 months I was going to go to a small town in the north of Iran called Langarud, more or less on the Caspian Sea, and that's where my family's from. My grandmother and my grandfather were born and raised there. They were the first of their family to come to the big city, come to Tehran. My dad's born and raised in Tehran, but every summer, as soon as school let out, they'd be on a bus. He'd be up at his aunt and uncle's house, spend the whole summer up there with his grandfather on the Caspian Sea. And I wanted to go there to develop a kind of genetic identity, genetic perspective to see the rest of the country. And I felt like you have that basic immersion, and then you need some kind of perspective to take everything else in. The basic stuff gets you through. It gets you on the bus. But you've got to have perspective or context to see the country. And that's what I wanted to develop spending that time in the north of Iran. Finally, the last 4 months was going to be spent just traveling throughout the country. Just to see everything, get on a bus and go. I wanted to see these historic places and the not so historic places, just the small towns, the places where people are just living their lives, and see that with some kind of context. After 8 months in Iran, it probably wouldn't have been an Iranian perspective, but probably not American either, somewhere in between. And that was the whole concept of the project, to fuse the two, the American and the Iranian, to bring it together, not so much to take it apart, to explore that other half and create that wholeness. 2 weeks after I got to Iran, I was drafted into the Iranian army. I thought I had an exemption from the mandatory military service, and I got there and presented all my paperwork and everything to the conscription board and went to see a bunch of doctors, and they all said, no, you have a partial exemption. So you don't have to go to combat, but you still have to serve in some capacity in the army for 21 months. And it just was like shock. It was a punch in the gut. I could have left Iran before 90 days, and I knew that just wasn't enough time for all the questions I had. 25 years of life without having seen all of these things, without having met all these people. There's no way I was going to fulfill all those questions in 90 days. The reason I'm on Indiegogo, the reason I'm asking for your help is because I want these images to be part of the dialogue, part of the conversation that is contemporary Iran. And I want these images to be yours. I want them to be out there, but not in an empty context. So it's not about having this image as a singular picture of Iran, but a story. And that's what the book allows us to do. The book allows you to page through and understand something, to ask a question, to follow me along this journey, and then to reflect in that. Being able to give these images out and share it with the world, hopefully to add something to that dialogue, is what the whole project is all about. It's why I went to Iran, and now it's why I want to move on from it. I want to give this to you and see that, and hopefully inspire other people to make those same trips and make those same choices and explore those same places in their past.